beautiful beings. I am so glad you're joining me today because I am more than excited to share a very special guest. Dr. David Silverman is joining us today. He's a retired board certified foot surgeon, but why he's really coming to share all his knowledge with us today is because of a passion he has for a product that I so badly want to tell you about. So he sits on the medical board for ASEA, which is a volunteer position. So welcome, Dr. David Silverman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Kristy. It's great to be here.
Now, could we just sort of back up a little bit, because I would love to hear the backstory of how you became involved with ASEA and why you're so passionate about the project.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm glad that you were touched by it and you told me what's happened with you. And that's wonderful. You know, when I found out about it, I felt pretty obligated to tell people about it. And those people told people and those people told people. And it's kind of a ripple effect. And you got caught up in that ripple effect, thank God. But how I got caught up in the ripple effect was, well, first of all, my background is podiatry and foot surgery. I live half the year in Maryland, half the year in Florida. I've sold my practice now. I'm 61 years old. And 11 years ago, I was 50. And my friend brought this to me. And she was a little intimidated. I mean, I was a board certified foot surgeon and I owned my own practice and surgery center. So she thought, well, she's an interior decorator, but bringing it to me, this breakthrough for humanity, which it really is. It's a health breakthrough for humanity. And, but she brought it to me. And the reason I took the time to look at it, Kristy, wasn't for me. It wasn't for the anti-aging benefits, because it does rejuvenate skin cells, makes you look younger. It wasn't for rejuvenating the inside of my body, which it does, but my dad was sick. So even though it sounded too good to be true, I took the time to look at it, because shame on me if it was real and I didn't help my dad. He had a very grave, very scary issue that no one wants to hear they have in any part of their body, whether it's their prostate or their breast or their lung. So I looked at it for my dad. So that was my initial intro into it. And she told me what it had done for her and her mother with various problems. I'm like, well, what one thing could do that? So I did my research, talked to many doctors, saw the safety studies on it, saw it was safe as water, and I got my dad on it. And saw incredible things happen with him. And he's fine today. He's 84 years old now. And I thought maybe it was a placebo, but I kept referring people to my friend Debbie, all kinds of issues, sleeping problems, immune problems, breathing problems, sugar problems, everything. And they all kept coming back saying, thank you, this is amazing. And I thought, maybe it's a placebo, maybe it's not. And then a friend of mine tried it with joint problems. He's a doctor. And in a month he said, it's got to be a placebo, but I'm not hurting any more at all. And I said, well, if you have bone rubbing on bone, a placebo won't last very long. You can't fool yourself if this is what's going on. I said, call me in a month or two and tell me how you're doing, because I'm curious. If you're still better, then I've got to look deeper into this and go meet the scientists and everybody else. Well, a week later, he called me and he said, it's not a placebo. I said, well, it still could be. It's only been a week. He said, no, something else has happened that makes it impossible to be a placebo. And Kristy, I don't know if you've seen something like this yet, but the first one for me was his. He had skin lesions on his body that he had for decades, and they fell off. They fell off just by drinking this stuff. And that's when it all made sense to me. I'm sure we'll talk about how does it work, but I realized it was not a placebo. And that's when I really got very serious about looking at what else does it do, and more how does it work, and how do people get it around the world, and why is it marketed through word of mouth, not through, you know, just regular distribution channels and advertisements. It's not a pharmaceutical, so it's not marketed through drug reps. But that's how I got involved. And the medical professional board position is, as you said, it's a volunteer position, but I really am an educator. I help people understand that this exists, how to use it properly, how to get results as quickly as possible, and how to pay it forward, how to share it with other people.
Yeah. Well, and that's why one of the reasons I fell in love with this is because there is so much information out there. You do so much as far as videos and, you know, sharing the science and guiding us to it. And I eat it up because there's just so much out there to see that it's doing so many things that it can at least support and address. But it's interesting because I came from a natural health and fitness background. It was just sort of a passion of mine that, you know, I became certified so as a part-time thing, but I really supported the concept. And I think it's what gathered groups and followers along the way, is that it was always about natural healing. I wanted people to learn how to boost their own body to help it do what it does best. And, you know, even to the point where we would do fitness programs outdoors just to get all the benefits of nature. But so I never promoted a product per se. And I think it's a little bit surprising for people to hear me supporting a product. But the coolest thing about this product, well, two maybe, is that one, we already have it in us. But two, I think the most magnificent part of it is it boosts your body to do what it already is naturally trying to do, and that we lose some capacity over time to do as well as we used to when we were younger. So I was kind of hoping, I guess, not everybody's a bit of a science junkie. They just want to know it works or not, but some of us are. So could you go through some of the actual technology that's behind this product that boosts our cells and provides the signaling and the extra benefit that we're looking for from it?
Sure. And quite frankly, I'll give some references where people get more of the science, but I'm honest to God, with my dad, did I want to understand how it worked, how it possibly worked, the mechanism of action? Yes. Did I want to see studies on diseases? Yes. Did I get everything I wanted? No. But I got what I needed. That it was as safe as water, which we'll explain, can't hurt anybody. It actually comes with a money back guarantee too. So you don't have to believe it. You just look at the information and it makes sense. It's like, well, let me give it a try and see if it helps me with my problem. But there's a book called Redox Matters that people can order. And the site is redoxmatters.com, redoxmatters.com. And there's some videos with doctors being interviewed, and there's some deep science discussions. If you click videos and click Dr. Dick Walker, he goes into some very deep science. He's an emergency room physician and internist. Most people don't care about that. So don't get stuck in the weeds with that. Bottom line is this. What's in this bottle, as you said, is in us. Our cells make this. It's called redox signaling molecules. Redox stands for reductant and oxidant signaling molecules. Our cells make it. You're making it right now. I'm making it right now. I'm 61 years old. These molecules are made in my mitochondria. That's where my body's making it. This is made in a lab identical to what's in us. That's why it's so amazing. It's not, people say, is it natural? Well, it's more than natural. Blueberries and peanuts are natural, but blueberries or peanuts could kill somebody if they're allergic to it. You can't be allergic to this. It's in all of us. It's in our animals. It's in plants. The term redox is going to become it is a huge field of science. It didn't exist in the 80s when I was in school. The bottom line is, our mitochondria is where we make it, and our mitochondria start going downhill as we age. And it really hits this point of boom, really decreasing at puberty. We start deteriorating at puberty, and people say, no, that's not true. 20-year-old is faster than they were and stronger than they were at 10. But a 10-year-old heals faster than a 20-year-old. 10-year-old falls off their bicycle and bangs their head, breaks their arm. They're going to heal faster than a 20-year-old will. So you can see that the decline has started. You don't see a lot of diseases and problems and medications generally until 30s, 40s. But bottom line is we're producing a lot of this when we're children. When I was a kid, I produced this much. In my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I'm 61. My cells are making this much. And my body should be functioning as a 61-year-old, but it isn't. I take no medications. I don't even take ibuprofen when I golf anymore. I used to golf once a week and take ibuprofen. Now I golf every day. Pretty much I'll go out this afternoon almost every day. I don't take ibuprofen anymore. And I'm drinking this and I'm raising my levels back up. So it's like a biohack. So basically, my body is functioning at the way it was. If I stop taking it, I just go back to where I was. So then the question is, what is it doing? And the simplest explanation is it amplifies signaling. It amplifies signaling. It makes it so that our cells can hear one another. And that's very important when there's a problem, there's a problem with cells, but it also amplifies the signal from the DNA to the cell to produce the proteins it's supposed to produce. And double-blind studies, placebo-controlled double-blind studies have been done proving this. But here's the simple explanation. Okay, and it also raises your levels of antioxidants like glutathione. People that are listening to you that know what glutathione is, they know how amazing it is. Anything that increases glutathione, they're like, I want it, I want it. I mean, that's one of the things that it does. But here's when people say, they look at stories and someone has problems with their joints and they're, wow, I'm feeling better. The problem with their sleep, oh, I'm sleeping better. Problem with their vision, hey, I think I'm seeing better. People that have ringing in their ears and they're like, oh, I don't hear that anymore. People that have skin problems, people that have bone problems, people that have pancreas problems, people that have liver problems. And people say, I'm feeling better. This is pretty remarkable. And people that would say outside would say, well, how could that be? How could one thing have an effect on all parts of the body? Well, here's how. When you have cells that are healthy, they say these are healthy cells and this is an unhealthy cell. If your pancreas cells are healthy, then you don't have diabetes. If your retina cells are healthy, then you don't go blind. If your liver cells are functioning properly, you don't have liver disease. But if you have enough cells that are bad in your liver, you're going to have liver disease. If your cells are healthy, you're healthy. You have bad cells in your pancreas, you're going to have diabetes or something worse. If they're mutating cells, then you can have something worse, right? But we all have cells that are dying. Our cells die. They have a lifespan. So when cells die, what happens? They just sit there? No, they get replaced with good ones. Well, it's not magic that makes cells get replaced with good ones. It's the immune system. What happens is a bad cell is dying, or it's not functioning properly, or it's mutating, or it's damaged by trauma. It doesn't just sit there. If it sat there, we'd get sick or we would die. But the good cells that are around the bad cell detect there's a problem. They sense there's a problem. They're communicating. And they say, oh, there's a problem. They call for help. That signal goes through the body to the immune system cells. There are like millions of little ambulances waiting for a help call, waiting for a 911 call, right? If I see someone on the golf course fall and have a heart attack, I see them holding their chest, I'm going to call 911. I'm going to tell them the address and they're coming, right? Well, the same thing. The cell is calling the immune system for help. The immune system cells get the signal. They come down to the pancreas, say that's where it is. They assess the problem. If they can't tell the cell to fix itself, it signals the cell to kill itself. It's called apoptosis. Kills the cell, dissolves it with acid, carries the debris away in the lymph system. Then what? You're missing a cell. This is simplified because stem cells are involved. But the good cell replicates itself. The good cell replicates itself. And then you're back to homeostasis. You never knew you had a cell that died in your pancreas. We're made up of 70 to 100 trillion cells. We have tens of millions that are dying in your retina, in your liver, in your kidney, in your bone. Bone cells last 7 to 10 years. They all die. They need to be replaced. This is the process, right? Well, cells that mutate. We all have cells that mutate, but we don't all get cancer, do we? But you see a lot more cancer as you get older, right? Well, what is it that redox signaling molecules do, which is what this is? What they do is they amplify signal. The more you have, the louder the call for help. So when you're a kid and you fall off your bike, help, help. The immune system comes down, gets rid of it. You heal really quickly. When it happens when you're 50, maybe you're in physical therapy for 2 years. Maybe you have a traumatic brain injury from it. You don't bounce back quickly. You fall off your bicycle at 80, you probably die from the accident or blood clots or something afterwards because your signaling is down. So when you drink this, you're amplifying the signal so the immune system can hear there's a problem. The immune system doesn't care if it's a liver cell, doesn't care if it's a retina cell, doesn't care if it's a uterus cell. It doesn't care. It's just like when I call 911, they don't care if I say the guy fell out of a tree and he's unconscious, or he's lying on his back because he had a heart attack, he's unconscious, or he was hit by a car. Doesn't matter if it's a boy, a girl, a man, a woman, black, white, yellow, it doesn't matter what happened. If the signal is strong, the ambulance is coming. And that's the beauty of this product. And it's as safe as water. Our cells make it from saline. Our cells are filled with saline. People look at the bottle and say, oh, the ingredients, water, sodium chloride, looks like a bottle of salt water. No, those are the ingredients that go into making redox signaling molecules. So our cells are filled with saline, sodium chloride, and H2O. In the mitochondria, those molecules are broken apart. You got sodium and chloride and hydrogen and oxygen. They can be recombined into different molecules other than salt and water, and that's what it is. So that's what makes it so safe. The last thing I'll tell you, this is all I cared about. And then we can talk about proving it, how we prove it's real very quickly. We can do that with the gel version of it. But why is it so safe? And this is what I cared about with my father. And anybody that's listening to this and saying, hey, you know, my dad had an incident with his brain and he can't use his hand anymore, or my son is on the spectrum, or my sister has a problem with her nerves where she's got tingling all over her body. And they're wondering, well, what's the risk here? There is no risk. When I used to write prescriptions, and I did every day I had to worry about three major things. One, Mrs. Jones, I'm about to write you a prescription. Are you allergic to any medications, right? Because I could kill her with the wrong medication. Two, Mrs. Jones, are you taking any other medications? I could write a medication that can interact with another medication. I could kill Mrs. Jones. And then I have to look at her size, her weight, and write the right dosage. Because if I write too much of it, I could kill Mrs. Jones, right? None of those apply here. You can't be allergic to it. It's in us all. It doesn't interfere with medications. So people just baseline everything in their health before they start: energy, sleep, moods, take pictures of their skin, take pictures of skin lesions, take pictures of wrinkles, take pictures of everything. Everything about their health, they write it down. They keep taking their meds. They keep taking their herbs. They keep doing their acupuncture. They say, all the things that I'm doing today has got me to where I am right now. This is me. Here's my sleep pattern. Here's my energy. Here's my weight. Here's my blood sugar. My hair is thinning. Here's where I'm at, whatever it is. They say, here's where I am. They keep doing what they're doing, and they just drink this and they put the gel on their skin, which we'll talk about. And they just watch what happens. And the last thing is, so there's no drug interaction. And I said, there's no toxicity here. You know, if you take a medication, your liver generally is what metabolizes it. This is the right proper dosage, and you're metabolizing it, so you're excreting it. You can still have side effects, you can still have problems, but that's the proper dosage. If you double the proper dose, your liver, it can't keep up. And so you start having toxicity build up, and that could cause problems with your liver, your kidney, your eyes, your heart, whatever. If you keep taking too much of a medication, it'll kill you. Every medicine has a lethal dose. Every medicine has a lethal dose. They couldn't find one on this. It's not metabolized by the liver. It's not a pharmaceutical. It's in us. If I drink too much of it, I drink generally 8 ounces a day. Most people drink between 4 and 8 ounces a day. I drink 8. But if I drink a whole bottle, which I do sometimes, if I'm going to take a trip on a plane, a long trip, or I go to Asia or whatever, or I'm feeling run down for whatever reason, I feel like I've been exposed to something, I'll drink the whole 32-ounce bottle. It can't hurt me, because if I drink too much of it, it's not metabolized by the liver. If this is the amount that I really need, and I drink this much, my body turns the excess back into salt and water, which is what our cells are filled with. And people say, oh, they really? Well, when you cry, what do your tears taste like? When you sweat, what does your sweat taste like? We're filled with saline. So it's made from saline, but it's not saline anymore. So long answer to your story. And I didn't get deep into the science. As I said, if people want deep, deep science, go to redoxmatters.com and watch the videos by Dr. Dick Walker, and you'll get the deep science.
That's awesome, because everything, I think that's why I get so excited hearing all this information and can listen to it a million times over, is because for a decade, as we talked about, I fought after a tick bite. I was on a long hike. I actually had about 9 ticks on me that day, and deteriorated for quite a few years. And although there's no real solution to fixing an infection like that, or a lot of the treatments I did, and I had to, investigate different options. The concept was always, because there's no clear solution, let's do what we can do to, with medications to hammer down this infection. But at the end of the day, we also want to build your body up so that whatever's remaining, or, whatever has happened along the way, your body is actually able to fight it on its own. And that's the part that got really tough for years, because, you can fight an infection or fight an illness or fight unhealthy cells, and you're trying to knock them out, but you also have to be building your body back up. But you really, at the end of the day, nothing is able to fight a lack of wellness better than your body, if we can get it to the place it needs to be to do it. And so, although, I gained for a long time, worked very hard to gain my health, and was very grateful that I had gained it at a level that I felt that I could continue on with life and living, but it had to be managed very carefully, just to stay at that level. And in addition to, sometimes wishing and hoping I could go a little above and beyond that, I also had this desire and wish to get back that 10 years that I lost. I went from running Ironman triathlons to having trouble getting out of bed and walking down my hallway unassisted. So I felt like I had lost so much. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I got my health. Should I just be happy that I got that and I'm there? Or can I become the old me and gain that energy? And I investigated every source of energy, every way you can gain energy, still staying with a sense of building your body and natural means. The second I heard about this, it was like all my antennas went off, because it rang so true to what we need to build our body. And it literally, the part I'm so excited about that I have to share people is I have been getting years back. And I never imagined, I thought, at one time I thought it was too much to hope to be healthy again, but now to actually think I can gain years again. And I know that's a huge claim and that's a big promise, but you like to say it's like living younger, longer, I think is the term you always use.
That's right.
I love that. I call it my fountain of youth, because I really feel I'm gaining youth as I go. So yeah, this big blue bottle, I imagine like that fountain I found in the middle of some country somewhere, and it really is that. But it has a reversing ability in the sense that it's building up my body healthier than I think it was before I got sick.
And the body's doing it. I mean, again, the product doesn't do it. The product doesn't do the healing, the body does it. And the body bounces back and takes care of itself and functions better when we're younger. You don't see a lot of cardiovascular problems in young people. You don't see a lot of hormone problems in young people. You don't see a lot of inflammation problem in young people. You don't see as many digestive problems in younger people. The immune systems of younger people are stronger, the innate immune systems. Well, there was a double-blind study done, placebo-controlled, 8-week double-blind placebo-controlled study, and saline was the placebo. They wanted to see, would this product turn genes back on? Epigenetically, our genes turn off, genetic expression goes down. And every single person who drank a sea, their genes turned on. These are mapped genes. We know what they control: hormones, inflammation, cardiovascular, immune system, digestive enzyme. These are all mapped genes. Every person who drank this, their genes turned on. Not one person who drank the saline did their genes turn on. Not one, not a single one. Then they said, well, that was at 8 weeks, and they turned on a lot, at least 20 to 31%. And they said, well, what happens if you stop drinking it? Well, after eight more weeks, they retested it, and the genetic expression went back to where it was. So if you want the benefit, again, I'm producing this much at 61. I used to produce this much. You raise your levels up. If you stop drinking, you just go back to where you were. People ask that sometimes. Like, what happens if you stop? Is there withdrawal? No, because my body is producing this much right now because it has to produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, in the mitochondria. So no matter how much redox molecules I take, my body has to keep making ATP. So it keeps doing this. Now, over time, it's doing less and less and less. When I'm 70, I'll be producing this much. Right now, I'm 60, right? But it doesn't matter because I raise my levels up by this. And it's so safe. I mean, here's a nebulizer. If people are ever going to nebulize it, we're not making any claims that it's going to cure, heal, or treat anything. I'm just showing you how safe it is. Get a mesh nebulizer, MESH. If you put it in a regular nebulizer, when this stuff comes in contact with metal, too much metal, filling in the teeth is okay, but you don't want to put it in a dog bowl because you can give it to your animals. But it's metal. You don't want to put it in a metal spoon. It starts turning it back into salt water. But here's a mesh nebulizer. You can see that's coming out. I'm putting it in my eye. It's perfectly safe to breathe it in. I'm inhaling it into my lungs. It's amazing to have something that's so dramatic. I mean, it's a category creating product. It's a breakthrough for humanity, but it's so safe. It's just so safe. When you look at the ads on television for meds, doctors are trained to make a diagnosis, which we're really good at. We're good in crisis care and we're good at making diagnoses, but we're really bad in treatment. I mean, for non-crisis things, chronic problems, because the answer is always medicines. Watch the ads at night, look at the side effects. I mean, here's a topical gel version of this, right? It's called Renew 28. We call it the blue and the white. That's what we say, right? When people order, how much blue do you want? How much white do you want? And the company has other products for cellular health. There's nutrition, there's Redox products for mood, for energy, for mind, but we kind of focus on these two as the fundamental things. This product's marketed for anti-aging. The studies prove what it does for wrinkles, for skin texture. It makes your cells healthy and young and vibrant, right? It also works for cellulite. But can I tell them about how to validate it very quickly?
Yeah, for sure. That's
Okay.
the exciting part. Yep.
So when people go to order, if they order it through you, they're going to get a money back guarantee for a month, right? Expectations with the drink, baseline everything in your health, right? And there's some videos that explain it, how to use redox.com. It's a simple way to know how to do it, that use it. But they baseline everything in their health and then they start doing it. It's 2 ounces twice a day. Comes with a little cup. Actually, this is not the cup. This is a different kind of cup, but it comes with a little 2-ounce cup. You put it in your mouth and you hold it for 60 seconds and you swallow it twice a day, 2 ounces twice a day. You reassess on that form. How did you do? About 15% of people say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. 15%. The 85% who don't see it are not fast responders. They should temporarily double it to 4 ounces twice a day. Right? Money back guarantee for 30 days. At 30 days, about 60% of people have their aha moment. 60% see a shift, something shifted. They're like, wow, this is real. 90% have that happen in 90 days. So commit to do 90 days. But if you haven't seen something happen in 60 days and you want to know that it's real, if you have a spouse that says, oh, it's just salt water, or I read online, it's salt water, take the gel and find 10 people who have something that hurts them. Maybe it's the spouse, but you find 10 people that have something that hurts them and watch what happens to 9 of the 10 people in 10 minutes. 9 out of 10 people in 10 minutes, watch what happens. What they do is they rate their discomfort level on a scale of 1 to 10. Say if it's a 1 in their neck, say it's a 10. Whatever it is, they get the number and they're going to reassess in 10 minutes. That's all it takes. They take the gel, they shake it up. It's clear. There's no smell. It's marketed for wrinkles. I'm putting it on my face. That's what it's marketed for. I put it all over my body for sun damage, everything, because I'm out in the sun all the time. But they're not going to do it for that. They're not doing it for skin. They're doing it for what hurts. They apply it to where it hurts. Once it dries, twice it dries, 3 times it dries. So 3 times in 5 minutes. And then at 10 minutes, say, how do you feel? Watch what 9 out of 10 people tell you. And they could be closed-minded cynics, as long as they're open-minded people say, yeah, I think it's going to work. I hope it works. 5 out of 10 of those, you'd say, well, they just wanted it to work. It doesn't matter. If you have 10 people who are honest, if they're open-minded or closed-minded, doesn't matter. They got to be honest. And in 10 minutes, watch what 9 of them tell you. And then you will commit to do this at least for 90 days and take as much as you need to take. It's the fastest eye-opening way, fastest way to open eyes and open minds is with that gel.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting too, and maybe it has to do with my background, but I actually got the blue and the white right away, but I was so focused on the drink, which I think most people are pretty focused on using the gel first. And so I didn't use it right away for no other reason that I doubled up right away. I was gung-ho. I was going to get this drink into me and see what happened. But it was kind of cool and exciting because you referred to it earlier, the glutathione with the detox. That's actually what sold me. And I think if you've had chronic illness or dealt with chronic illnesses, glutathione is part of your vocabulary, which is not normal. But I had spent so many years having to try and up my glutathione because as you're fighting something, you want to get rid of it, right? And within, I think it was almost not even quite 3 days, I had a better, what I would call glutathione achieving moment that it had been boosted somehow more than anything I had ever done, which was very detoxing. But what was also interesting, because I had done crazy things to try and assist my body to detox, was it was very gentle. So I was like, this was way easier and seemed much more natural than normal. But then you talk about all these other things, because when you've dealt with and been sick for a long time, you just have all these little things that still happen that you almost take as normal. And so I would have inflammation that would just pop up. It was almost sometimes full body, and it would just be like, I feel swollen, or my face feels swollen for no reason. I had always sort of had allergy, sinus stuff. So I did all the things you were just talking about, and I'm not dealing with any of them anymore. It's incredible. People talk about, oh, did I lose weight on it or what? No, it's just that inflammation is gone from your body. It feels.
Well, one thing is just that we can't claim that it makes inflammation go away. We can claim it turns the genes off or back on that control inflammation, but we can't make any claims that it works for pain, it works for inflammation, because it's not a medication. So we have to be very careful. But what you're saying is this is a form that people can get from you that I have my people use when they start. And like you say, there are things we just take for granted. If a person's major problem is that they have really low mood and they lie in bed all day in a dark room at day 0 before they start, it's like, okay, well, what's your mood? Right? And they don't really care that much that their knee hurts them, right? But they should baseline all these things. Or maybe they don't sleep great. Maybe they get up to go to the bathroom a bunch of times. Maybe they have digestive problems. And this is what I was saying. They baseline everything before they start. And I'm not saying by day 90% of people are going to see their major problem better. I'm not saying that. They might. I'm saying at 90 days, 90% of people have seen something here shift. They know that it works. And as I say, the numbers, the realistic numbers is 15% see a shift by day 7 and 60% of people see a shift by day 30. But you're right, you want to look at the whole body. Your body has a priority checklist as to what it's going to take care of first. You may have something, your major problem might be this. This is your hand moves. And you say, wow, in 30 days, that I don't see anything there. But your body might have a priority checklist. Maybe there's something else going on you don't even know yet that your body's putting in its energy in. This is just amplifying signaling, right? It's making the body hear where there are problems, and it takes care of itself. But I've been on a high for the past 10 years sharing this with people, and I'm glad you're bringing it to the people that Kristy.
Well, and I love your point that you really do have to track it, almost because I feel like it does happen so gently and naturally that you sometimes have to take a pause and go, wow, I wasn't doing that before, or that wasn't so easy. Or even some friends and I, and these are pretty energetic people. Some are athletes and fitness trainers, and we're talking, and all of a sudden we're comparing notes of how much you're getting done, to the point that you even go and do something that would be very tiring, and you're standing there going, okay, what can I do next? And it just, you don't even realize. And I love to describe the energy that I have experienced from it as not a burst, because even when you were talking about the mitochondria, my doctor was always saying, when you've been sick for so long, we got to wake up the mitochondria again. We got to get it functioning, like it used to. And I would have these spikes in energy and then sort of setbacks and drainage, but it's not like that. It's this just slow, gradual building of energy that is the best word I can use to describe it is stamina. And I know, like, my mom, who's in her late 70s, she was wondering, trying to figure out what she was noticing. And she literally tore up a back patio, replaced it, was worried about joint pain. So she put the gel on, woke up in the morning feeling so good and having no like arthritic pain, but also lacking no energy, that she did her front walkway. And, you almost don't notice it. It's just happening so naturally. She's doing it. And she had to pause for a moment and go, wow, I haven't been able to do something like that for a really long time. And so it was kind of multi-dimensional, but the energy, like I say, was something I prayed for a very long time. And I'm very grateful that this has given it to me, almost in a way that I feel it's just allowed my body to feel it again. You know, it's like my mitochondria have woken up and remembered how to make the energy it used to make for me. And so that's very exciting. And I guess that's why too, I'm passionate. I want people to feel that too. You know, it's a great way to go into your later years in life and know that you have this tool to help your system do what it does so well.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of times people have common questions, and we do weekly Zooms answering questions, and you can always provide people with that, where as a doctor always to answer questions. One of the questions is, well, I have high blood pressure, can I take it? There's very little sodium in it. If my doctor says don't take it, just look at it. There's 125 milligrams of sodium in a daily amount. There's more sodium in a glass of milk or a slice of bread. It's just such a, it's a humbling thing. And again, hearing, I relive my aha moment 10 years ago, 11 years ago, by hearing when people like you who have it happen to them, it's like I relive it over and over and over again. And it's just phenomenal.
I remember when I told you about a few of the experiences, you'll have to correct the words I use, but I think you said, I'm always amazed, but never surprised.
Right,
and
exactly.
I get that now because, yeah, it's just everybody has their own little version of experience, but it sort of puts a smile on their face and gives them a new vigor and vitality for life in their own way. And it's kind of like what they needed, you know, to.
Totally. And it almost didn't happen. A pharmaceutical company almost bought this. And I put together a generic site that anybody can use. There's no contact information. I don't have anybody contacting me. My contact information isn't there, but there's a video there called Why Didn't They Sell Out? Why did the founders of this company decide not to sell out to the pharmaceutical company? And that website is gettingyoungerclub.com, gettingyoungerclub.com. Watch that 16-minute video, because if they had taken the money with such a disruptive innovation as this, that changes things, chances are the pharmaceutical company would have buried it and pulled it out when we get out of the drug age, which we're moving out of the drug age. We're moving out of it. We're just been kind of brainwashed for a long time. That's the only way to do things. It's not the only way. It's a way, and it's very helpful, but people are waking up. When we get far enough out of it, they would have pulled it out of the closet and say, look what we have something great, you know. As soon as the curtain goes up on the Wizard of Oz and it's like, hey, game's over, drugs aren't the only way, they pull it out. But how many people would have suffered or died in between then? And the founders of the company had the integrity to say, no, we're not selling it out. So it's marketed word of mouth. And what happens is good people feel obligated to share it with people. Some people are open, some aren't. Some people say, oh, I read it's saltwater online. Okay, well, put this on 10 people that are hurting and watch what happens to 9 of them, and you know that it's not salt water. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, well, then I can't help you. I can't help people that are closed-minded, but people that are proactive and open-minded that say, you know what, I got nothing to lose. I got this problem. My son has this problem. My daughter has this problem. It's safe as water, comes with a money back guarantee. What do I have to lose? And I'm telling you, Kristy, a lot of people come to this that way. That's their attitude. There are people like you where it made sense. It's like, I think this is going to work. You don't have to believe, you just have to baseline everything, take it properly, and watch what happens.
Yeah. I said at one point way back that I had to really believe I could get healthy before things really started to happen, right? Even you and your brain are sending those signals to your body if you believe it can happen. And then I had to go through a period and figure out how to believe that I could actually get more energy. And I think it's because of going through that I was then open to this concept when it came to me. Or maybe, you know, I came across it because of the process I went through to, you know, looking for that. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a really small risk to take to just try it. You don't have much to lose. Like you say, there's money back guarantee. There's no side effects. It's only gonna boost your system doing what it's already doing. We have nothing to lose but to try it, but to experience even one of the multitude of experiences people are having, why wouldn't you? You know, there's no reason anybody can come up with why you wouldn't want to give it a try.
And I didn't mention this, it's produced in an FDA registered production facility. It's shipped to 33 countries around the world. The company's 13 years old. At gettingyoungerclub.com, there's a 5-minute tour of the production facility. And you can see the FDA audits it, they go in. It's not considered a pharmaceutical, but it is an FDA registered production facility. So this is serious. It's much more serious than anybody really can fathom. It takes about 6 months of using the product and getting it on other people where you realize this is a massive breakthrough.
The other thing probably worth mentioning is just because when you're referring to, you know, the Google references to it, that there can be, you know, out of the ASEA name reselling of the product, that we can't verify the quality or where it comes from. And for that reason, ASEA sends it right to another lab that verifies what the content of the product.
When you watch that 5-minute tour, they talk about a company called Bioagiletics. They send the product every 4th batch out to verify that everything is exact. There are people that will sell online, but you don't know what you're getting. There's been counterfeit product. Most of it's in Europe, but it's starting in the United States too. The bigger this company gets, and they're not that big, $200 million a year, they'll be a $20 billion company one day, but the bigger it gets, the more it becomes a target of scammers and fraud people selling inauthentic product or expired product. So it's good to get it from an ASEA associate and not get it through some third party, because you really don't know what you're getting. And I don't mind buying golf balls online, but I don't want to buy the breakthrough for humanity that's going to go to every cell in my body and not be sure of what it is. So the best way to do it is to get it through an associate. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to understand about how to use it properly and share in people's experiences, that I think, you know, there's more reason to get it that way. Yeah. For sure. You did refer to it, and maybe we can talk about it again in a little more detail, because I was apprehensive to, you know, build up and see what all I could experience as soon as possible. And I know some people are too, but there's really huge benefit to just going in and seeing, you know, what it can do, and, you know, doubling up if it works for you. And then people worry a little bit about the detox. And as much as I was excited about the detox, not everybody is, but I really, once I sold into upping my water to help things balance and just let my body adjust to this whole new experience, I really found that all a lot easier. So would you suggest that people sort of go in purchasing a package, preparing to try to double up even for a short period, just to see what it can do for them?
Yeah, so at 2 ounces twice a day, you go through about a bottle a week. And so after 1 week, 15% of people just stay there, right? Because they're good. But the 85% that don't should double it. So now they're going through 2 bottles a week. So the first month order per person, you should have 8 bottles on hand. You may only go through 4, but there's a money back guarantee on that first order. The second order, there's not. So everybody that orders, I always say, get 8 bottles per person. Okay, so you have enough to double it. Because again, if you drink 1 bottle the first week, there's 4 bottles in a case. So you need 2 cases. You drink 1 bottle the first week, and then you double up. That's 1 week. Now you're going through 2 bottles in your second week, right? And then 2.5 weeks in, all of your product is gone. So that's what I recommend. And the minimum order per person, I would say at the beginning, since the money back guarantee, is 8 bottles of drink and at least 2 tubes of the gel. That's enough for you to use on your face, use in your body, look at the skin. And it's enough also to go test it on people you love that have something that hurts them. And you got 30 days. And if you don't like it, you get your money back.
And I like to think of the gel, you know, it's working on the outside while your body's taking time to readjust on the inside. And I think you use the terminology too, that the more you drink the drink, the less you'll need the gel.
Yeah, for things that hurt. That's true.
Yeah.
Over time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's all such helpful, useful information. I really appreciate you coming on to guide us through that. I'm going to let people know that there'll be links down below that they can contact me to help guide them through this process. I'm actually going to share my phone number because sometimes it's easier to just chat about it and go through the process that way. So I'm in Canada at 613-852-7496. So feel free to send me a text so we can set something up. And Dr. Silverman, I so appreciate everything you do in relation to this. You know, you do so many Zooms on Saturdays that answer people's personal questions. That's just amazing resource to have. I know there's other doctors that do it other days during the week too. I think just the generosity and your time and your background and your experience, but mostly just being able to utilize and share and gain benefit from your medical background as we all travel through this really interesting journey is a pure blessing that you're giving all of us. We're so grateful for your knowledge and expertise. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk to me so that I can share this with the people who are interested and that follow me. Much gratitude.
It's my pleasure, Kristy. And I take this very seriously. We have a lot of fun with what we do here. I mean, there's a business here too, and it's just fun. It's just sharing. The company just spends no money on advertising. They pay us to pay forward what we've learned. And that it's a fun thing, but I take it very seriously because I whenever I'm talking to somebody, if someone, whether it's a person I know or someone that someone else knows and they come to a Zoom, I know that life and death could be at stake. And I need to get through to people so that they, we're all jaded by this world. There's a lot of bad people. There's a lot of scams. There's a lot of whatever, and people say whatever they want on the internet. And I know that everybody's going to be on this product one day. It's that big. It's kind of like when Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Nobody knew across the world. Everybody was lighting rooms with flames. They didn't know that he invented the light bulb, but he knew the world was going to change. And Bill Gates knew the world was going to change. Elon Musk knew the world was going to change. I know people are going to use this product. It's just a matter of time. But you have to get through to open a mind, and every person I talk to is a doorway to somebody who I know desperately needs it. I may be talking to somebody that is really healthy, and if they're about to walk away, I hope that their neck hurts before they walk away, because I got a 90% chance in 10 minutes they're interested, and they're the doorway to that person who really needs it. So I just hope that everybody that's watched this takes it as seriously as I'm saying to, and as what you're saying to, and investigate it yourself. Come to know it's real now, before later, when maybe you say, gosh, I wish I knew about it 2 years ago when I heard about it from Kristy Giles, because now my dad isn't here anymore. Take the time to look at it. That's what I'm saying. So thank you for having me on, Kristy.
Much appreciation. Take care.